signed off on that I have problems with.
Did she mess
You went to mediation. You hired an attorney.
with their success?
What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
This is Judge Judy. Janie Furling is suing Russell and Juliet Slaybaugh for legal fees resulting from the sale of her business.
Judge, this is case number 21 on the calendar, the matter of Furling versus Slaybaugh. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Miss Furling, you had a T-shirt screening business?
Yes, silk screen printing.
And in 2017, according to your complaint, you sold that business to the defendants.
Correct.
For how much?
$800,000.
And were you paid in 2017 the majority of the $800,000?
Yes, I was.
How much were you paid?
$720,000.
And when were you supposed to receive the other 80?
It was a 5-year note, and they had the first 2 years deferred with interest only, and payments were supposed to begin February 1st, 2019.
According to your complaint, for whatever reason, the defendants were in default of that $80,000, or part of it. And you use any legal means in order to enforce that $80,000 that you would be entitled to legal fees. You acknowledge, Mr. and Mrs. Slaybaugh, that that's what the contract says.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Your complaint is that you agreed to go to mediation. You went to mediation, you hired an attorney, you paid for the mediation, which was unsuccessful, at least in part because Mrs. Slaybaugh didn't show up.
That's correct.
So my first question, just a second. So my first question to you is, what was the date of the mediation?
January 8th.
Of what year?
2019.
Oh, 2020.
I'm sorry, 2020. I'm sorry, 2020.
Were you present?
No, I was not.
Were you on the contract for the sale of the business?
Yes.
Do you have a document that shows me that you had given your husband your power of attorney on that date to mediate?
No, I don't have a document, no.
Were you hospitalized?
No, I had the flu, though. I was sick.
Do you have medical note to show me that you were sick?
No.
Then you have to pay her legal fees.
Ma'am,
then you have to pay her legal fees.
I am an officer for the corporation as well.
Is.
So we were essentially negotiating for the corporation.
The wife said she had the flu. Did the matter go to mediation? Did you each testify?
We both, we went, both parties went to mediation, Your Honor,
No.
yes.
I did not testify.
Well, not all the parties went to mediation. Your wife didn't go, and she was a signatory to the contract.
That's true.
She was a signatory to the contract.
But the corporation essentially was the entity.
Well, you say the corporation went. Who signed the contract?
Both she
both
and I
did.
as officers of the corporation.
Just a second. Hold on. No, this purchase and sale agreement was between the two of you, Russell and Juliet Slaybaugh, or a corporation to be created but had not been created, so the only people that signed the contract were you and your wife.
No, ma'am.
I don't see anybody signing it.
That was signed in December. I think in December of 2019, the corporation was...
2016.
16, sorry, yeah.
In December 28th, 2016.
Right, the corporation was formed December 20th of 2019, and all of the escrow, I'm sorry, 2016. Mm-hmm. And all of the documents, all the escrow, everything is done in the corporate name thereafter.
I don't care. I don't care. What I have are the document sale agreement. That's what I have.
Well, right,
That's all that I have.
Ma'am, I think that purchase and
That's all that I have.
I think that purchase and sale agreement specifies that a note would be created. The note was ultimately created during the escrow process. And then there's terms within the note that specify kind of the way things went. So there was an offset provision in the note.
Would you tell me why your wife didn't show up to the mediation?
Because she didn't want to get everybody sick. I mean, she wasn't feeling well. She didn't want to get everybody sick. I mean, I guess, especially these days, we should appreciate that. Did you call the
plaintiff or the mediator that morning and say, my wife is sick? We have to postpone this mediation. Just answer my question. Did you call?
No, we did not.
Did you call?
No, we did not. And
don't you think that that's a little outrageous?
No, ma'am. In fact,
don't you think that that's a little outrageous?
I think actually I'd like to take a look at the mediation. I believe the mediation was called out in the corporate name, so there was a corporate representative.
Why don't you pay attention to my question? Mm-hmm. My question was, if your wife wasn't feeling well, civilized people put in a call to the mediator who was being paid and to opposing counsel or their opposition and say, my wife, who may or not be there as a witness, is not feeling well today. We're going to have to post.
I have mentioned to the mediator. We saw it as a corporate matter, and we had officers of the corporation.
Okay. Now, do you have a separate matter pending for any of the balance of this $80,000?
I don't have any matter pending.
Do you?
No. A separate matter? Well, there are three things that they have signed off on that I have problems with, and before I can take them to court and actually sue them on these things, I had to agree to mediation. And so that's why we went to mediation first.
That's not true.
But just a second. So what you are telling me is that you do intend to sue them for whatever balance there is of that $80,000.
There is the possibility.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, there is the possibility of that, but I'm not sure yet. At the moment, I'm not sure that I would get any money if I did take them to court. I've been advised how much it would cost me to take them and the chances of collecting. I have a statute of limitations that I've been advised on, and so I still have time.
Ms. Furling, you have to understand that I am not entertaining your case unless I have a clear, unequivocal statement that you do not intend to pursue the balance of the purchase price, because in that proceeding, you will be entitled to counsel fees. So I need a clear rely on that you have no intention and you will not be filing a lawsuit against them.
At this time.
And it will be binding.
At this time, I do not have any plans.
No, not at this time. Sorry. Doesn't work for me.
Right.
You have to say clearly, unequivocally, that you will not file a lawsuit for the balance of the purchase price, because in that lawsuit, pursuant to your contract, you would be able to seek counsel fees. I am not going to entertain your case unless you don't say to me at this time. You have to say to me, I will not file a lawsuit against the defendants for any part of the purchase price. This matter today will resolve all issues, including counsel fees. Do you understand?
I do understand, but may I back up a little bit?
Okay,
This is not the first time that I have sought legal fees. We had a first set of lawyers when they first defaulted on the loan, and I had to hire a lawyer, and we did a lot of back and forth, and it came to a certain amount, and they paid for it. I'm entitled to be reimbursed for enforcement and collection.
Very good. I have to tell you, I'm not repeating myself again.
Well, I guess I will say so, yes.
I'm not repeating myself.
Yes, I will not. They owe me on the non-negotiable note in the future, and I would like legal fees to reimburse me.
Counsel fees.
I'm sorry?
And you're entitled to counsel fees. What were your counsel fees for the mediation?
It came to, I have it written down, it was $4,000.
No,
You want me to get the exact agreement?
Yes, I want you to give me the exact, you're entitled to counsel fees.
Yes, I have it right here.
For the mediation.
I spent $2,500 for the lawyer.
I'd like to see proof of that, please.
There's the first check, which was $500. Would you like me to put in the second one?
Yes.
That's the second one for $2,000.
Okay, good. Next.
And then...
So that was for the lawyer.
Here's the invoice for ADR services. Came to $23.75.
That was for the mediation service?
That was for the mediation service. And here's the proof of payment was done on my credit card.
That comes to $48.75.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your judgment. Now, you have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for libel, slander. I see you have no witnesses. What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
Ma'am, we have several emails that she sent to customers, sales representatives, essentially people that were...
Well, I'd like to see copies of those emails. And then, of course, on the second part of your claim, that would be for libel or slander. The second part of your claim is that you lost business as a result of that.
Correct.
And then you would have to have a witness that says that they believe that, and therefore you lost business. So first, let's put down.
Sure.
First, let's put down on the screen the emails that she sent.
That's the first one.
That's not libelous.
Well,
Next.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
The contract that you had with the defendants is clear, and it's an enforceable contract.
But that wasn't the context of
That
the
is what do you mean?
environment.
I don't understand what you mean context. There is no context in a contract.
Janie Furling claims Russell and Juliet Slaybaugh owe for legal fees after the couple defaulted on the purchase of her business. The defendants are countersuing for loss of business due to slander and defamation.
Now, you did, in fact, default on your loan.
no, ma'am, we did not. There's a provision in the note that was properly offset on, I sent a certified letter to Ms. Furling. There was never a detailed response according to the letter of the note. And so on August 22nd, it was offset.
Do you still have your business?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you still running your business?
Yes.
Goodbye. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $48.75. Thanks very much.
Thank
Good
you, Your
done.
Honor.
This case is concluded. You're excused.
I respect Judge Judy. She heard the evidence and she ruled the way she did, and I'm actually relieved it's over.
I am pleased that I got reimbursed for my legal fees.
She called customers, all kinds of things like that.
I sold to the wrong people.
All parties in the matter of Isom versus Hughes, Dirksen Hughes. Step to the podium.
Jessica Isham is suing James Hughes and his wife, Penelope Dirksen Hughes, for the cost of a cat and vet bills.
Miss Isham, you purchased a kitten from the defendants. It was a Bengal kitten.
Correct, Your Honor.
They're very sweet animals. And you purchased the kitten from them on the 25th of March
Correct.
of this year. Is that correct?
Correct.
How much did you pay for the kitten?
$600
And you found the ad where?
online.
Do you have a written contract?
Yes, we have a
that
contract.
the defendants gave you? I'd
Yes.
like to see it.
Sure. Try not to bend it. That's set.
Okay, this is the contract that you had.
Correct.
To the best of my knowledge, the above kitten is in good condition and health with no congenital defects. The purchaser, that would be you, must take the kitten to a professional veterinarian within 72 hours. If this veterinarian finds the above kitten to be in poor health or to have a congenital defect, the purchaser must bring a signed statement for the veterinarian as to the problem within 72 hours of the purchase for a full refund. Breeder will not be responsible for any veterinary bills. After 72 hours, all sales are final, except for congenital defects, which are guaranteed for 1 year with written confirmation from a professional veterinarian.
Correct.
So this is what happened. You did not take the kitten
Right.
to a veterinarian within 72 hours. That's clear
Because of COVID.
from your statement. Whatever the reason, when you purchased the kitten, the country was already in the midst of the pandemic, which according to you was one of the reasons you wanted the kitten.
Correct.
So you could have modified that contract when you signed it and said, if I can't get to a vet within 72 hours, can I have a week? But you didn't. You signed this contract. Several weeks later, you took the kitten to the vet. And according to you, the vet found an infection,
Right.
which required surgery. It was expensive. They also took blood from the kitten and found that the kitten had some sort of a feline COVID. And you ultimately, after a lot of money in vet bills, decided that the kitten could not be saved and you had her euthanized.
Correct.
That's what happened.
Correct.
And you believe that the defendants should be responsible for your veterinary bills as well as a refund for the kitten.
Correct.
I don't see that, Ms. Isham. You had a contract.
Yes, but I think because
You
of
had
the
a contract.
because of the context, and also because she wasn't just having FIP, she had FIV, ascites, several different illnesses that were from the chronic condition that she had when I got the cat.
Well, A, what you indicate in your complaint is that the defendants never had a blood test of the kitten.
Correct.
A blood test is not a usual test that breeders have. of either kittens or puppies before they sell them. At whatever age they sell them, they very often have their vet checked and or have vaccinations. But breeders don't have a blood draw. I've certainly bought enough dogs and cats to know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The
Did
contract
breach
for the
she
sale
had several
of a kitten.
verbal contracts with me aside from the written one.
You cannot have a verbal contract once you have a written one.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jessica Isham claims James Hughes and his wife, Penelope Dirksen Hughes, sold her a sick cat. Jessica says the cat had to be put down after only 2 months.
Now, what I found more interesting from the defendant's side is you called them several weeks later and told them about your first visit to the vet.
Right.
And at that time, despite the fact that they were under no contractual obligation to you, they said to you, we will give you a new kitten if you want.
I didn't want a
take
cat from them because they sold me a sick cat. Because their environment is what induced her health issues.
You're not entitled to your vet bills, and you're not entitled to a refund for the kitten because you had a contract, and the contract was clear. Your obligation was to have the kitten vet checked within 72 hours. If, and I don't mean to make you feel guilty, but if you had done that, it is possible that the kitten would not have had the kind of infection that it did if, in fact, it was in a cat fight, as you sing over this wound. But the vet, if it had been checked weeks earlier, might have found it before it infected it badly.
It wasn't.
So,
I wasn't able.
Go ahead. You weren't able to because
I was not able to make an appointment because most of the vets were closed. I got an appointment quickly after I realized that she was lethargic.
But Ms. Isham, that's not what your contract says. Your contract doesn't say that you have 72 hours after you notice some symptom of the kitten that you don't like. The contract that you had with the defendants is clear. It says your responsibility, if you want either a refund or a new kitten, your choice is to take the kitten to the vet within 72 hours of the purchase. You didn't do that. And it's an enforceable contract.
But that wasn't the context of the environment.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean, context. There is no context in a contract.
Well, then why did they string me along? Like they were going to help me. Like they gave me information about FIP and where to get medicine, and they kept, we'll get back to you. Oh, we'll help you. Oh, this, oh, that. It really felt like...
They were being nice people. They even offered you a new kitten. They're not responsible
for your vet bills. Why would I want another sick cat? Like, I don't...
I don't know why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed cat. You been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
They didn't breach your contract. They didn't breach the contract for the sale of a kitten.
She had several verbal contracts with me aside from the written one.
You cannot have a verbal contract once you have a written one. That's the law. If you have a written contract, the only way you can modify that written contract is by another written contract. That's the only way you can do it. She did, in fact, say to you, in breach of that contract, but I feel sorry for you. I'll give you a new kitten if you like. She wasn't obligated to do that, which you could have had tested immediately, because what your complaint was initially was that the cat was lethargic because it had this infection. Breeders don't know where the infection came from. You brought the cat home on March 25th. What was the date of your first appointment with the vet?
4/16.
So that was 3 weeks later.
I got the appointment on April 4th for the 16th. That's when I could get in.
Whatever it was, you had the kitten at home in your house for 3 weeks.
Because based on the conversation...
Sorry, Ms. Isham, you don't have a case. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much.
This case is concluded. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, a breakdown showdown.
As soon as we sold this car within a couple of months, something doesn't smell right to me.
Judge Judy.
She was sick with more than 4 different illnesses.
I think she made the right decision. It was logical, reasoned, and informed.
That could not have occurred in that time frame that I had her.
It's very unfortunate, these things happen, but I don't think it's our fault.
And old RV needed some TLC.
You paid him to fix this 35-year-old camper.
And I had to pay someone else money to fix those repairs.
But he has an age-old problem.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner. You're not following the math.
But the body itself has not lasted.
Nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine.
This is Judge Judy. John Progner is suing mechanic Miguel Ramos for performing shoddy work on his RV and leaving it incomplete.
Judge, this is case number 105 on the calendar in the matter of Progner versus Ramos. Both parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Progner, you are the owner of a 1985 Toyota camper.
The year 2000 in Santa Cruz, California.
You purchased it when it was 5 years old.
No,
And
it's a
how much did you pay
1985.
for it?
I paid $2,500.
You purchased it when it was 15 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
For $2,500. And you used it for 20 years.
Yes.
Sounds like you got your money's worth out of it.
I put a new motor in it when I first drove down here. I bought it from friends, and the new motor was in it, and the motors continued to last. But the body itself has not lasted.
Mr. Progner, nobody's body lasts. Not yours, certainly not mine. So you got a whole bunch of use out of this 1985 camper that you bought 20 years ago for $2,500, but you decided you wanted body work on it. In addition to being very old, it's also damaged by something falling on the roof. In any event, you found Mr. Ramos. He said he would fix the whole thing for $5,000. And you said, okay, and according to you, you paid him in July of this year $4,500 towards the $5,000 bill to fix this 35-year-old camper. So I would like to see proof of all of those payments.
Right here. Each one of these is a withdrawal from the Bank of America. I have text comments the 11th of June. I will call you and I've got money for you. Can I bring it by tomorrow? Miguel responds back in the text on yes, bring it by, and I've been by on the 12th to pay him. So each one of these is validated. I have met Miguel's neighbors. Miguel has been over to my brother's family's house for Christmas. He has met every member of my immediate family, Judge Judy, and everyone had the understanding Miguel was being paid to repair my camper.
Perform a miracle that you paid for.
Then why did you give me the price, Miguel? You're the one that dubbed the price.
Just a second. Don't talk to each other. I'm looking up what a 35-year-old camper is valued at.
Judge Judy, I paid to put a new motor in that in the past as well, so the 35-year-old camper has been maintained in certain aspects.
Yeah, fine. I'm not buying that thing. That thing doesn't show me checks. That thing shows me where you took money out of.
Okay, I've got a voice recording right here where I've called Miguel and saying, Miguel, I've got $1,000 or $500 for you. Can I come over and give it to you? Can I play that, ma'am?
Oh, sure. I could see that you might want to fix it for $500.
Hey, Miguel,
Absolutely.
how's it going, man? I hope it's okay with you. I want to give you $500 tomorrow. If that works for you, call me back or hit me back or whatever, and I'll meet up with you tomorrow and give you $500. So I've got several of those, Judge Judy. I've got another one.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'd like to hear the rest of them.
Okay, I've got the other texts that I have. I've got them typed out right here, ma'am.
No, I want to see it on your phone.
Okay.
I don't want to see what you typed out.
Okay, let me find out what the date is then, and I'll bring that up for you then.
I've got $500. Maybe you'd want to spend $500 to fix it.
Miguel gave me a rate of $5,000, ma'am. He's the one that chose the price. He gave me the bid.
Mr. Progner, there is no way a normal person spends $5,000 on a camper that they paid $2,500 for 20 years ago that was 15 years old when they bought it. No way.
The camper is now worth, if you look at retail value, ma'am, those campers are selling for anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000. They're very, very expensive.
Fully restored.
Okay.
Here's the text here.
Mr. Progner,
Miguel
Mr. Progner.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Miguel, I have $1,000 for you to be around. Yes, definitely. I'll be here tomorrow. Got your floors done today. Mr. Progner, according to your complaint, he gave you a price of $5,000. Crazy as that may be for somebody to pay $5,000 to fix this relic of a camper that had been damaged. What you say in your complaint was you paid him $4,500 and you had to spend another $1,000 or $1,134. So at most you've spent $6,000, $4,500, $1,500, because you also say you have to rewire some broken lights that Miguel destroyed. Whether that's true or not, I'm speaking. At most, you spent $6,000. Is what you're telling me that the defendant did no work? Because you say yourself, when you went to pay him the $500 upon completion, and I'm not so sure I buy a whole story about $5,000 to fix it, I noticed questionable work and voiced my concerns. Miguel just claimed he wasn't finished yet.
Here's questionable work,
So you
Judge
said in
Judy.
August...
I've got one tail light, one brake light, and one turn signal, all split between both sides. I've got a vent right here that you can see light through.
Tail lights.
You're not listening to what I said to you. He did work on your camper. At most, if I believe your complaint, it cost you an extra $1,000. And if you fix the taillight, an extra $440. So in total, you would have spent $6,000 to fix just a piece of that. $1,500
Judge Judy,
is for
I
work
paid Miguel to fix my brakes.
No,
my brakes were the main thing that I came here for. I got towed home by my brakes because my brakes froze up in the camping trip.
You're not entitled to $5,000, Mr. Pogner.
You're Miguel $4,500 to fix my brakes, and I had to pay someone else money that I already paid to Miguel to fix those repairs.
The same you did.
Miguel has taken advantage of me, Judge Judy, and needs to pay.
You're not taking advantage of me, Mr. Pogner, because you're not paying attention.
Progner is my name, ma'am.
You made an agreement with him to fix your camper.
Yes.
As you said earlier, don't speak now. Now put on your listening ears. To fix the camper, both mechanically and cosmetically. And you were going to pay him $5,000, and that included the brakes. You paid him $4,500. He did work on the camper. You say you had to pay someone additionally $1,100 to fix the brakes. So now you've spent, instead of $5,000, you've spent $5,600. Then you say a taillight doesn't work because of something he wired wrong, and you have an estimate for $440. That brings the total to $6,000 to get your camper back the way you want it. That's according to your complaint. You're not entitled to $5,000 back.
My camper is ruined by Miguel, Judge Judy. The roof is ruined. Here's the roof right here with big holes in it.
Okay.
Judge Judy was supposed to install an air conditioner for me.
I used 3-year-old air conditioner.
He was supposed to fix the oil leaks in the motor.
No,
I paid $15 for $15 for the oil leak to repair in about 2 hours, Judge Judy. Miguel is a terrible person.
Yeah, I bet.
The way I met him was through Beth, his girlfriend. He had to get rid of Beth because she became too needy on him. He became a very aggressive person. Miguel does not pay his child support, Judge Judy. He's been hounded by Florida.
Yeah,
I've seen demand payments
That's
for between
not
$800 and $900 of all of this. Miguel is not a nice person and has taken advantage of me, Judge Judy. And here's many validations of this.
You want to show me a photograph of the exterior of your 35-year-old camper that you got back from Miguel?
Yes.
That you got back from him?
Here's my camper now sitting in the back of the yard at the break place where I can't drive it still.
Don't listen to me, sir.
Yes,
I didn't ask you to say anything. I said just show it to me. So now I see it. Now I'd like to see the camper when you brought it to Miguel.
I do not have a picture of what it looked like when I brought it to Miguel.
I have those, Your Honor.
May I see it, please?
This picture here shows where he had a store that was full of homeless. They ripped the door out from it. They partied inside. They used the toilet like 40 times. There was all kinds of...
This is not the truth. Not the truth at all. Not the truth at all.
If you interrupt one more time, I'm dismissing your case, Mr. Pugin. If you interrupt again, I'm dismissing your case. We understand each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have a photograph of the interior after you worked on it?
Yeah.
Is that the inside of the camper?
And later today.
And she put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV and went and took a nap.
I would like to know what a tablet is.
An iPad.
An iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
John Progner claims mechanic Miguel Ramos performed shoddy work on his RV, leaving it incomplete. He is asking for a refund of the money he paid.
Mr. Ramos, is that a photograph of his camper?
Yes, it is, Miss Judy. This is basically...
When he brought it into you?
Yes.
No, not basically. Is that a picture of his camper?
Yes.
Do you have any other pictures?
I sure do. I have for more.
Is that the interior?
Yes, that's the interior. Removed completely all the flooring out of it.
Mr. Ramos, do you have a photograph of the interior after you worked on it?
I do, and...
Just show me the picture of the interior after you worked on it. Is that the...
Yes, it is, Miss Judy.
And now I'd like to see the photograph that the plaintiff just put up of the camper as it exists now after it was fixed by Mr. Ramos.
Beautiful.
Looks great. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's it. Thank you, Miss Judy. Thank you so much.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Basically, I did what I was supposed to do.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
You should be happy what he got. He could go to the beach and hang out in it.
And that piece of whatever you want to call him just got walked out of here for free.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Scott versus Hastis. Step forward.
Daycare provider Angela Scott is suing her former client, Stacey Hastis, for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacey claims Angela is a negligent provider, and she's not paying.
Ms. Scott, it is your claim that the defendant owes you 4 days of daycare services for her 2 children.
Yes.
And Ms. Hastis has a defense. Her defense is you shouldn't be entitled to any money for taking care of the 2 children because you neglected them. So, Ms. Hastis, on what date did you bring your 2 children to Ms. Scott?
I don't have an exact date.
On what date, Ms. Scott?
May 15th, 16th, and 30th.
You brought them on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay for them on the 15th?
No, I did not.
How much was...
They were there for 6.5 hours at $5.50 an hour for both children, so $35.75.
So you availed yourself of her service.
Yes.
On the 15th. You didn't pay for it.
I was told I could pay all at the end of the week.
But we're in court now, so now not what you were told. Now we're in court, and we're going to figure out how much you owe and how much you're going to pay. So on the 15th, you took your children, $35.75, and were satisfied sufficiently to bring them back on the 16th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you brought them back on the 16th. And how many hours did you work on the 16th?
From 9:33 in the morning to 1:50 for a total of $23.50.
Now, there is a long gap between May 16th and May 30th. What happened, Ms. Hastis?
On the 15th, I brought them back. Everything seemed to be fine.
No, listen to me. I don't want to hear that you were not satisfied, that you had concerns about her care of the children or anything else about the 15th. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you were any sort of a mother, if you had sufficient concerns, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 16th, which you did. So you owe her $35.75 for the 15th. Now, having brought your children back on the 16th, I am 16th and the 30th because you don't deny that you brought the children back on the 30th, which means if you were any sort of a mother, if you had legitimate concerns about the safety of your children on the 16th, you wouldn't have brought them back on the 30th. So clearly, you owe for the 16th, which is $23.50. My question to you is, what happened to her caring for the children between the 16th and the 30th?
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor, she never mentioned that I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she
I
ate.
shouldn't have to mention that. You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daycare provider Angela Scott says former client Stacey Hastis owes for an unpaid daycare bill. Stacey claims Angela doesn't deserve to be paid.
Now, what happened between the 16th and the 30th?
The 16th, my mother picked my kids up, and Miss Angela Scott brought my mom the wrong child.
Well, that would have suggested to me, not your mother, you, normal mother, she brought my mother the wrong child. I may not, just a second, I'm not bringing my kids back there again. But you brought them back on the 30th.
Because I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Just a second. That's fine. Just a second. You gave her the benefit of the doubt, so you owe the money for the 16th. Now, you gave her the benefit of the doubt, and despite the fact that your mother said, you know, she gave me the wrong kid, and despite the fact that you had other concerns about her care on the 15th and 16th, you brought your children back on the 30th. And how many hours were your children there on the 30th?
I'm not sure.
How many hours were they there on the 30th?
3 1/4.
How much?
It's right around $18.
Now, what happened on the 30th, Ms. Hastis? Because after the 30th, then you did not bring your children back there anymore.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. And you left your children there for 3 hours. Where did you go during those 3 hours?
I worked.
Okay, so far you owe for the 15th, you owe for the 16th. Now you want to tell me why you don't owe for the 30th.
I don't owe her anything.
Oh, yes, you do. I
just
explained to you that you ate the steak. You went to the restaurant, you ate the steak. You didn't return the steak and say, I don't like the way this tastes. You ate it, and then you said, you know what? I've had better steak. I'm not paying for it. You ate the steak on the 15th. You brought the kids back there on the 30th for another steak. Now, all I'm asking you is you do owe her for the 15th and 16th. So now you're going to explain to me why you think you don't owe her for the 30th. I've already ruled on the 15th and 16th because you ate the steak. Now, if you have some compelling reason, because you didn't bring your children back after the 30th, if you have some compelling reason why you think you should not pay for the 30th, that I'll hear you, but you are going to pay for the 2 days when you ate the steak. The 30th is what we're talking about. 30th.
I picked my daughter up, and as every mother, you ask your kid what they did that day. She told me that Angie put the kids in bed, put my daughter on the couch with the tablet and the TV, and went and took a nap.
You're the one
I'm not paying anybody to neglect my children. If you don't watch the kids, you shouldn't get money for saying you watch the kids. And you, as a daycare, you don't go lay down and take a nap.
I would like to know what a tablet is.
An iPad.
An iPad. Oh, I thought you some sort of a drug. Oh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Who takes care of your children now?
I do. I had to quit my job than with anybody anymore. So I quit my job to stay home with my kids.
What's wrong with your mother?
My mother works.
I don't understand. She owes you $77.25. Why are you suing her for $787?
In my parent handbook, it's $5 a day late fees. She said she'd be there June 2nd with a check. So late fees started June 3rd when she didn't show up to pay me.
$77.25. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she never mentioned that I neglected her.
She's paying for the steak she ate.
I shouldn't have to mention that. You take a nap. You don't get to take a nap while you watch kids.
I didn't take a nap while I watched your kids.
My 5-year-old's in the back. You can talk to her.
Listen to me very carefully. And you too. If your daughter said after she had a conversation with you, my mother told me I was given the wrong child at daycare, and therefore this is not the kind of place that I want for my children to be cared for. I'm speaking. Try putting on your listening ears. Then I would say, fine, I may listen to that. But she ate the steak, and not only did she eat the steak, but she brought the children back on the 30th. And I don't care what the reason was, whether the reason was she had to go to work. What?
She had no choice, Your Honor.
She had no choice. If there's something wrong with you, that's my judgment. Goodbye.
Your Honor.
If excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy.
He forged my son's signature.
I'm waiting for them to finish lying to you.
He never signed an agreement.
He agreed to it.
But you signed it.
Next, Judge Judy.
I don't think she deserves a dime. I shouldn't have to pay someone to neglect my children.
We do stuff with the kids every day, and I didn't neglect her kids.
I have a 4-year-old who comes home and tells me she went and took a nap. You don't take a nap when you're watching someone else's kids.
I didn't take a nap while her kid was there.
When I went to pick the children up, the babysitter took a long time to get the door, which concerned me.
She never even voiced a complaint to me about anything.
When she finally did come to the door, she tried to give me a different infant, and I said that one wasn't mine.
I've never given anyone the wrong child. The days that they were there was my kids were the only other ones there, so I have no idea what she's even talking about.
Make sure you check everything out before. Otherwise, you could end up with someone neglecting your kids.
Everyone that meets me always comes, meets my staff, looks around, and everyone's happy with it.
He invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of recording some music.
An off-key moment set the tone.
You know, he's talking trash, saying this and that. He was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. I picked my stuff up, I turned my back, and he started swinging on me.
And it ended on a bad note.
So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and said, bro, please, my laptop's gone. Just give it back, bro.
Where's his computer?
Ricky Jones Jr. is suing his former friend, Travis Grisham, for the value of a laptop computer and punitive damages for an assault.
Judge, this is case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Grisham. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Jones, the defendant was a friend of yours, and in November of this year, according to your complaint, he invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of recording some music.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you do that as a living or a hobby?
I do it as a living, miss. I love music.
I mean, recording it. Do you do it as a living?
Recording? I mean, I'm self-made in the game, so I have all my own stuff, but I love to record myself, and if anybody would love help, I mean, I don't mind helping. Does that make sense?
So you have your own recording? No, not really. So I'll make it simpler for myself. You know, my grandchildren try to keep it as simple as possible for me when we're dealing with things that I have no clue about. You don't have a regular studio where you record.
My studio is mobile, so, like, I don't have a place to...
You don't have a fixed place?
Yes, ma'am.
That you pay rent on?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have some of your own recording equipment. Did you purchase that recording equipment new?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just curious, what does equipment like that cost?
$8,000 to $10,000.
And when did
that happen?
So sometime during the summer?
Yes.
Prior to that, what were you doing to record your music?
I was working very hard, saving my money, so I was able to afford the equipment that I was able to purchase.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in a warehouse, inventory control.
Do you live with family or do you have your own place?
Miss, I'm homeless.
Do you have a car?
Yes.
What kind of car?
I have a Mustang, 2003.
So all of your musical equipment fits in the Mustang?
And if it's not in my Mustang, it's at my wife's house. And my wife lives with her mom.
How long have you and your wife not lived together?
We've been on and off, but I have problems with my own family. And with her family doesn't really like me. So I'm kind of misunderstood.
And you don't live with your family?
No, ma'am.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. I take very good care of my kids, too. And I have one on the way.
Well, then you must get together sometimes.
Oh, best believe we do. And everything's in the process. Nobody really knows what I'm doing, but it's a secret.
Not anymore. It is your claim that on this date in November, the defendant invited you over to his apartment for the purposes of doing some recording of music.
Yes,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
You also record music, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't have your own equipment?
No, ma'am. I don't.
Do you sing or play an instrument? What do you do?
I do both. I sing and I...
Talking about is not a guitar or a flute. It's
No, ma'am.
the engineering.
Engineering
it's
is
the
more
equipment
like...
that makes sound.
Basically, like, quality control, like sound. Like, basically, like, I fix the sound. Yeah.
So you sing and you operate the dials?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you sing?
I
play
rap.
An instrument? What do you do?
I rap and...
So you sing. Well, that's singing.
Yeah, I do, and I'm learning. So the only thing I don't have down is the engineering part. I engineer, but I don't know how to mix and master yet. But I'm in the process of learning.
Good. I guarantee you'll learn it before I will. The mixing and mastering.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anyway, tell me what happened when you got to his apartment.
I got to his place, I put my studio equipment in there, and I noticed my computer wasn't there. So I had to go meet up with my wife to pick up the computer. We picked up the computer, showed back up to the house, and right before we was going to set up the studio, he was telling me we should record in the living room, and I told him the living room has too much of an echo and that I would like to record in a room or a room that has, you know, stable sound that's not going to echo and mess up the quality of the sound. He got an attitude. I don't know if he was hating on my equipment or if he was thinking I was trying to tell him what to do up in his place, which I wasn't. I just wanted the best for my studio. You know, he started arguing with me, started getting loud with me, started saying he's a great engineer, this and that, started calling people on his phones. And I'm like, it's not about that, bro. I just want to record in the room. You know, and then he started getting loud with me, and I told him, you know what, bro? I said, you're getting loud, and in the back of my mind, it's going to be his equipment. So I went ahead, and I got my equipment. I told him, I'm going to come back another time and record with you. Picked my stuff up. I turned my back, and he started swinging on me. I fell to the floor with my equipment. It was a box full of stuff, and as he was swinging on me, I was trying to fight to get back up. I got back up. He ran to the kitchen and go grab knives. And in my mind, I'm just like, when he ran to the kitchen, I'm like, get your stuff out of his house. So I was pushing my box out of his house, and then I went back to get my two T5 speakers. And when I went back to go get my two T5 speakers, and as I was coming out, he had knives in his hands telling me to leave. I got my stuff out of it.
Slowly. Slowly, look at me. Slowly. I want you to start up again from, I went to go back inside to get my speakers. Very slowly, right here.
I pushed my stuff out of his house, my big box.
I got you. Push the stuff out.
I went back to get my T5 speakers.
Push the stuff out of it.
To get him out, he was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. So, you know, I got my stuff's out of his house now. I go ahead and I'm putting my stuff.
Did you get the speakers?
My speakers. I got my speakers. Yes, ma'am. And I got my box.
So you got your speakers. Shh. So you went back and got the speakers.
Yes,
right?
As he was in the kitchen.
Okay, so you went back and got the speakers, and
I went ahead and I get my equipment. I take it to my car, and I'm upset. You know, I know everything's moving fast. So it's missing. You know, my laptop's missing. So I go to his house and I knock on the door and said, "Bro, please." I didn't come at him with no aggression. I said, "Please, just give me back my stuff, bro, so I could leave you alone." You know, he's talking trash, saying this and that, and so he tells me, "You want your stuff? Okay, fine." And he threw my backpack out of his back window or his back door or whatever, and he threw my camera. So he told me it was around the corner, so I went to go retrieve my items, and my backpack was there, my camera was there, but my laptop was missing. So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and said, "Bro, please, my laptop's gone. Just give it back, bro. You know, I'll give you whatever you want." And, you know, he started talking more trash to me, and then he went ahead and said, "I'm gonna call the cops, bro, because you're trespassing." You know, so when he told me he's gonna call the cops on me, I'm like, "You gonna call the cops on me, bro, and you got my stuff?" So I went ahead and I went back to my car and I called the police on him. And the police had came, you know, and they didn't really do much, you know, but they wrote down the report, and I told the police I'm gonna go ahead and sue him because he got my equipment, he's not giving it back. And then he told the police that his name was Kevin Mitchell.
Just a second. Do you have a police report, or did they just give you a card?
I have a copy of the police report.
Can I see a copy of the police report, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's his computer?
I don't have it. He has his own computer, ma'am. He has all his equipment.
How much did you pay for the computer?
Oh, $2,089.
No, I don't want to see an about. I want the receipt for the computer. Did you seek medical treatment that night for anything?
No, ma'am.
Did you seek medical treatment at any other time?
No, ma'am.
Did you advise the police that the defendant had assaulted you, or just that he had your computer? Think about what I'm saying. You have the police report. Did you tell the police that you had been assaulted, or did you just tell them that he had your computer and refuses to return it?
Miss...
Just give me an answer. Look at the police report.
He's my childhood friend. I wasn't trying to... I didn't put on the police report that he put his hands on me.
So I just asked you a question. You called the police, they arrived, you told the police about the computer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
There is nothing in the police report about an allegation of assault.
No, ma'am.
Okay, because if he assaulted you, if you were afraid of him, you know, coming back twice and knocking at his door would have been a little bit crazy if he was acting like a Looney Tune that night. Now, did you throw out his backpack?
Allegedly, they said...
Not allegedly. I don't want to hear allegedly. I want to know.
No, I didn't throw it. I didn't throw his backpack outside with the rest of his equipment.
How did you explain to me how you sat it outside?
I went through my back door, and I sat his backpack and his camera right there. The only two bags that was in my house left, and then I closed my sliding door, and he kept banging on my door. And I told him, "Your stuff is on the side." He went and grabbed it. He went back to his car. And then he just started raging, talking about...
And he called, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
He went back to his car.
Yes.
He called the police.
Yeah, he sat in his car and he called the police.
Yes, that's exactly what he did. And he said his problem wasn't that you had a physical altercation or that you had his speakers.
Or anything else.
Or that you had... Except his computer.
That's what they say.
Searching for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,089.97. We're finished here. Thank you very much.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
On your way to success, people will hate, you know?
It's a whole lot, but, you know, it is what it is, you know?
He had a knife, you know, and it's cool because, you know, God knows the truth.
Oh, I never pulled no knife.
You know, he only lying to himself.
No punches that I know of.
Yeah, he was jealous of me, and it's fine because, honestly, I'm going to keep getting money and I'm going to keep getting more.
I'm just going up. That's it.
I'm going to keep going.
Harris versus Penn. Step forward.
Devin Harris is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Jasmine Penn, for the cost to rent a car and a loan for gas money and food.
Mr. Harris, Miss Penn was your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you lived together for a period of time?
Yes.
And you moved into her apartment?
Yes.
When did you move into her apartment?
I can't remember the exact date that I actually moved in.
Month. Let's start with easier. Let's start with year.
Oh, 2013.
Was it hot or cold?
You know, it was San Bernardino, so it was very hot. So trying to remember the date we actually moved in.
March.
See, I knew she would know.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payment for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills. Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
And when had you moved into the apartment?
I moved in February the 28th, 2013.
And you took the lease in your own name?
I did.
And then you decided to move in with her?
Yes.
And it is your claim that you loaned her some money and also rented a car on your credit that she was supposed to pay for.
Yes.
She didn't.
Yes.
And in addition, she had a little fender bender in the car, all of which you became responsible for. And something about $1,600 that came out of your checking account. What was that for?
It was actually $1,500. That was for the car rental itself.
Okay. And she has cross-complaint for unpaid rent and the fees that she had to incur for breaking her lease. Now, you broke the lease?
Yes,
because
Your
she couldn't afford to pay the rent?
Yes, Your Honor.
You should have thought of that before you signed the lease.
Well, he agreed to pay.
No, he didn't agree to pay for anything when you signed the lease. You signed the lease by yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't move in for at least another month after that.
2.5 weeks to a month.
A month. So I assume that when you took that apartment, you had intended to get a roommate.
I tried to get a roommate towards
I
the
assume
end.
that that was your intention, to get a roommate, because you didn't have him when you rented the apartment. So it's not his fault that you broke the lease. It's your own fault you broke the lease. How many months did you live? You were there?
I didn't pay specifically to the rent. I pretty much paid household things. At the time, I had just recently bought a car, and we only had one car. We worked about an hour from our job, so my car and gas was paying for us to get back and forth to work. And I was paying for, food and things like that.
What other things like that?
Just everyday things you need to pay for stuff, just, groceries.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payment for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills for, light bills, electric bills, and stuff like that. And that's the only thing I was supposed to pay for.
Well, light and electric bills.
Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
So she was going to pay the rent and you were going to pay the utilities.
Exactly.
And the gas to and from the car. That, that may work out. How much was the rent in total?
$800.
$800. Well, if he paid for the gas...
We were going to the same job.
It doesn't matter. You would have to get there. So, listen, even if I were to use your logic that he had to use his car to get to work anyway, and I was just tagging along, he can say to me, I was living in her apartment. She was going to pay the rent anyway. Why do I have to pay her?
He agreed to.
Just a second. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You broke the lease, and then you went and lived at his parents' house. You didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation?
He asked me to.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
Now, if you were supposed to pay the transportation and the utilities, and you tell me that you didn't pay the utilities because you have no proof that you paid the utilities, you at least owe her for the utilities.
Yeah.
For the 2.5 months you were living there, how much do you think that was?
I would say about $200, but the thing is, it's not about me paying the utilities, it's that I've given her money that covers the utilities that, sit there.
That's all he did throughout the whole relationship.
So you owe her for the utilities. Let's say it's $200.
Okay.
For the time that you lived there, and you did use your car back and forth for a part of that time.
Yeah.
But then she rented a car because you had different shifts, then your shifts changed. How many months did she use the rental car?
Between August to October.
Well, August to October, were you living together then?
She was actually living with me at my folks' house for that time.
Oh, you mean when the lease was broken?
She moved in with me into my folks' house, yeah.
Well, you didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation? You broke the lease?
Me too. After we broke the lease, I was struggling. Me and my daughter, we had no place to go, and he's like, come, stay over here, and then
I just would have liked the information. It's not the way you made it appear here. How much did you pay his mother for rent for you and your daughter?
She wasn't charging us anything.
That's not my question. How did you contribute for your support when you were living at his mother's house?
She just asked us to pay the utilities, and that was
Did you pay them?
Yes, for 1 month.
Strike out the $200. For what months do you claim she owes you for personal expenses that you loaned her money for?
It was a time actually after our breakup. She actually drove the car for a couple weeks after we broke up, and then for about 2 months she was kind of having issues, so I was pretty much helping her out with just gas and...
Who cares? You were helping her out. That's a nice thing for you to do.
Well, it was due to, she would say, like, I'll pay you the money back on Friday, I get paid, you know, things like that.
Then you should have stopped lending her money, if that's what you thought it was. Did you ever get together during that time?
No.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your car. Who should pay for your car?
He should.
Why?
Because he rented it. I was just an additional driver.
What? Speak up.
He rented it. I was just an additional driver.
Well, I rented it,
right.
But he had his own car.
At the time, his car was in the shop.
Really? Was your car in the shop?
Yeah, my car wasn't in the shop. I was driving another car that my family...
What other car?
I was using my grandmother's Lexus for that, at that time.
How long was your car in the shop?
A little bit over a month.
And how many months did you have the car?
About a month and a half.
How long did she have the car? You have the information.
Approximately from August 19th to October 25th.
That's more than a little over a month.
Well, I don't remember exactly.
You don't remember. I don't remember. And you know what else? I'm not going to remember either one of you when I finish this case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you owe him for the rental car. You needed a car. You didn't have credit to get a car. He got you the car. Why didn't you pay for the car?
Well, I feel like still in turn he owed me for breaking the lease, rent, utilities, so I feel like it went both ways.
And what about you and your kid? Lived at his mother's house. You didn't pay for anything.
That was his grandma's choice. I mean,
well, it was your choice, too. It was your choice to rent an apartment that you couldn't pay for you and your daughter.
I could pay for it at the time, but when he moved in...
Prevented you from continuing to pay for it.
I'm having to pay the utilities, all the food.
Yeah, the utilities are the same, just like when he drives his car to work with you hanging on the door.
I was giving him gas for when we're going to the same
How much was the car
every day?
How much is the car?
How much was the rental car?
$15,1070.
$15,1070. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You decided to put new flooring throughout the house.
But she was floored when they didn't return.
Who asked for the balance of the money?
Who?
What are you asking me for?
Judge Judy.
It's just my fault. I should have had something more in writing, and I should have just prepared myself a little bit more.
The money that I spent that's out of my account will be put back in my account, so I can't complain.
Especially when you're moving in too fast in a relationship.
We did. I mean, sometimes that happens. You know, we moved it too fast, and then...
Should have never entered into a relationship where I pretty much didn't even know the guy.
Other things occurred, you know, working and just drifting apart, and that caused arguments, and here we are today.
He did a lot of this, just like the judge said. He does a lot of this and not enough act. So at the end of the day, it's my bad.
Lesson learned.
You had parked there for about 7 hours. When you came out to get it, the car was gone.
A driver in a frantic search.
Your towing company towed his car.
Correct. The security company that patrols that property had called us to remove that vehicle.
Then, did the tow company pull a fast one?
Did he say that he didn't have your car?
They absolutely said they did not have my vehicle. They sold my vehicle.
This is Judge Judy. Reginald King is suing tow company manager Mark Mathis for the value of his car and property after his vehicle was illegally towed.
Judge, this is case number 153 on the calendar in the matter of King versus Mathis. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, sir.
Thanks, Bert. Mr. King.
Yes, Your Honor.
You parked your car on December 17th of 2020, and when you came out to get it, either that day or the next day, the car was gone. Where had you parked it?
I parked it in the front of my residence, in front of a commercial parking space that's utilized for my vehicle was parked exactly where this Honda Accord would be parked at.
Show me exactly, make a mark where your car was.
I'll give you a bigger picture, Your Honor. Right here where this car is parked is where my vehicle was parked at.
And where do you live?
I live inside the gated community here where townhouses are. Inside of our gated community, there's restricted parking. And this area here...
Okay, just a second, just a second, Mr. King. What time did you park your car there?
My car had been parked there since that morning.
When did you come out and see that it was no longer parked there?
I took my daughter to the airport around 11. I went and took my vehicle and retrieved some keys. And then I took her to the airport. Once I came back that evening, probably around 6 o'clock, I noticed my vehicle wasn't there because it just had gotten dark.
So you had parked there for about 7 hours?
Correct.
Where had you gone in the morning before 11 o'clock?
Right around that time, I pulled my car, my son's vehicle, actually. I pulled it into that parking space. So I normally park it on the street.
Why?
I had my taco cart, and I had other personal belongings that I wanted to make sure it was secure, or someone would be able to see it if someone would try to steal it or break into it. So I didn't take my taco cart out of the vehicle because I was hosting my daughters that weekend, and we had a...
Does it say parking for people who are using the retail businesses only?
It's for both our residents and for retail businesses that are there in front. It's a barbershop there. It's also an insurance company there.
Well, I see if there are other shops there, but there's no sign there. I only see a blue sign over in the corner that looks like a handicap sign.
Yes, ma'am.
But other than that, there are no signs that say parking here for shoppers in...
It's unrestricted parking, Your Honor.
And were you blocking anybody in?
No, my vehicle was bagged in to the rear gate was facing the barbershop. Because I had
what do you mean a rear gate where it was facing a barbershop? I don't understand.
I backed in my truck where the front of the truck was facing the street, and then the rear gate was backed in. I actually bagged the vehicle in.
But right in front of that store?
Correct.
Where it looks like a Honda is parked now?
That would be correct.
Okay. And you, sir, own a towing company, or do you work for...
I work for the towing company.
And according to your answer, because what happened here is your towing company towed his car.
Correct.
And is your claim that you towed it as a result of getting a call and his car was illegally parked, which you'll tell me about
That is
in a
correct.
moment.
His vehicle, it was unauthorized to be on that property. The security company that patrols that property had called us to remove that vehicle.
Let me see.
Town slip with the security company and their signature authorizing the removal.
Did you physically remove the car?
No, the driver Hector did.
Okay. I'd like to ask him a question. Would you have him step up, please? Hector, what is your last name, sir?
Echeverria.
Mr. Echeverria, do you remember back to December 17th, 2019, when you towed the plaintiff's car?
I do remember, yes.
You do?
Yes.
I want you to be clear. Don't say you remember if you don't.
No,
you do remember
I remember
that.
being there that day, yes.
When you got there, approximately what time did you arrive at the location where the plaintiff's car was parked?
I must have got there about 6:40, 6:45, around that time.
In the evening?
Yes.
Did you see any reason that his car would have been towed?
Well, I mean, when I got there with security, usually from my understanding...
No, don't, look at me. Look at me, Mr. Echeverria.
Okay.
Don't tell me usually, don't tell me basically, don't tell me what somebody else told you. Did you see any reason when you looked at the car and looked where it was parked for the car to be towed.
Yes, because he wasn't a customer for the stores.
So what you're saying was the people who were parking there were supposed to be shopping in those signs that you saw that said that.
There was a sign at the entrance of the property.
That says what?
Private property.
Where's a picture of that?
I don't have a picture.
So the answer is, other than the fact that your company was called by a security company that monitors that space, there was no other. I mean, he wasn't blocking another car. He was parked there. And if he had been a customer in one of those stores, which were either open or closed at the time, there would not have been any reason to move his car.
Well, I'm not sure what the rules are there for that property.
You're not sure?
Well, I mean...
You were just given a job to do.
Right.
You were just given a job to do to tow that car.
Yes.
And it was easy to tow. It wasn't blocking anybody else. It wasn't parked in 3 spots. It was just parked in one space. Right. Backed into one space.
Right.
Okay. Now you can sit down, Mr. Echeverria. Thank you. Okay. Now, Mr. King, so your car was not there when you came back on the 17th. I'd like to see the police report that you have from the 17th reporting a stolen car.
And, Your Honor, I do not have that police report. I had a whole entire file, and I was remiss in not bringing the actual file when I originally sued Mr. C's. I went to the police station in Lakewood. I contacted first Mr. C's Towing at 9:50.
Towing company.
That would be very correct.
Oh, interesting. So that evening you contacted the towing company, and you contacted the towing company. You knew to contact the towing company, Mr. King, because there had to have been a sign there that says parking for customers only. Unauthorized vehicles will be towed by Mr. C's towing company.
No, the sign is...
Let's just process what I said.
Yes, ma'am.
If I were missing my car, I wouldn't know to contact Mr. C's towing company. The first thing I would say is, somebody stole my car. So now you can tell me what prompted you to call Mr. C's towing company.
As you enter our residence, and as it describes, our residence is private property. It's a gated community. Inside, there's restrictions for parking for exclusively residents only. So my first indication, since the car was missing, was I asked the gentleman that owns the barbershop, did you see something happen today with my car? He doesn't recall.
Don't tell me what anybody else told you, sir.
Absolutely. I looked at the gate. I retrieved Mr. C's telephone number.
Just a second. That's exactly what I said. You saw his name on a sign that had a restricted parking signature on it. And my sense is, Mr. King, that you knew you were.
No,
yeah, my sense is you knew you were.
I think I may not have done a good job explaining it.
You maybe not, but on the same day that your car was towed, you called him. And did he say that he didn't have your car?
They absolutely said they did not have my vehicle. And here's the proof.
Do you know who you spoke to?
Their dispatch.
Okay, I'd like to see proof of that.
Right here, Your Honor. You see that on December 17th, my telephone records, my name, 9:55, I made a call to Mr. C's at 323. And they can validate that's their accurate number.
Well, it was an accurate number, and you were on the phone for 1 minute with them.
Correct.
And if I were to call that number, I would get dispatch?
That would be correct.
And in 1 minute, you said, did you tow my car, a Chevy Blazer, and whatever? And dispatch said no.
Yeah, I gave them the address. I gave them a description of the vehicle, and they informed me that they had no tows from that address.
And you called them at what time?
At 9:55 p.m., Your Honor.
Okay. So then you filed a report of a stolen car.
Correct.
Did you ever call Mr. C's back again?
Not until they contacted me in March, demanding payment for storage after they sold my vehicle in a vehicle lien sale.
Okay. Now, I'm coming to Mathis. I'd like to see your paperwork on the notices that you sent to Mr. King.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now,
first notice. Let's go notice number 1.
Here is the notice that after 72 hours, we have an outside company come in to process our lien sales. Here's the notice that is sent to all the registered and legal owners.
No.
Okay,
no.
What are you looking for?
No. That's not what I asked you.
What did you ask me?
Don't tell me that's somebody else. That's somebody else's document. That's not your company's document. Is that right?
That is correct.
I want to see Mr. C's first notice to the plaintiff that you towed his car.
We hire an outside company to process all of that paperwork.
Okay, very good. Then you're going to pay him for his car.
I don't
because
believe
you
so.
don't have the evidence.
No, I do.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. Show me. Show me. The fact that you give it to an outside company that you don't have here, you can't show me paperwork from an outside company.
Why
you
not?
could show me paperwork from your company. Why not? Because it's hearsay. Because it's
this
hearsay.
is a legal document.
No, it's not a legal document,
It's
sir.
not a legal document.
It was filed by some... No, listen to me. You have to have the person here so that I can grill them exactly like I'm grilling you.
Would you like their number?
As to, do I want their number? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you brought Hector.
Yeah, that was
Mr.
probably a
Mathis,
mistake,
you
huh?
bring...
Your Honor.
Oh, you're such an idiot.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
this truck is going down the hill with no drivers in it.
Now show me the damage. So he went in there. Oh.
Yes.
No.
So this picture is showing almost hit the neighbor's garage wall.
Reginald King says Mark Mathis's tow company illegally towed his car and then sold it.
Anyway, listen to me. The value of your car clean is $2,000. I just looked it up. That's the average clean price for a 2004 Chevy Blazer. So $5,000 is not in the ballpark, sir. You say that there were things that were in the car. One of the things that you say was in the car was a taco cart.
Correct.
And the taco cart you say you had in the car because you had had a party for your daughter. I'd like to see a photograph of that cart, and I'm not entertaining anything about your son's golf clubs. What is that?
That is a taco cart. It is big enough for me to cook 50 pounds of meat.
I don't think that's going to fit inside of a Trailblazer.
For you. That's a piece of metal. That doesn't look like it collapses.
It absolutely does. Comes off. The top portion
Very
here
good.
is very
Very
heavy.
good. I'm not giving you any money for a taco cart, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. I'm not giving you money for a taco cart. The Chevy Blazer, the average clean price for a Chevy Blazer is $2,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
This definitely was an illegal tow.
I think everything was done legally.
I've had incidents with Mr. C's.
And he shouldn't receive any payment.
On a few occasions of them being aggressive.
100% legal.
Coming in, attempting to tow vehicles without security.
Business as usual.
It was legally parked and illegally towed.
All parties in the matter of Kacharian versus Hubbard. Step to the podium, please.
Neshan Nick Kacharian is suing his neighbor, Steve Hubbard, for damage to his property after Steve's truck rolled down a hill and into his front yard.
Mr. Hubbard, I'm going to start with you because there really is no issue in this case as to fault and responsibility. The only issue in this case is damages. Because from what I understand from both of you, you both own your own property in California, and you're the plaintiff's property. And on September 22nd of this year, you were doing something with an old truck that belongs to you, and either you were towing it or, according to you, the brake failed, and the truck rolled down the road and stopped in the plaintiff's yard. The plaintiff says that your truck caused damage to his landscaping of his yard. You subsequently had to have the truck towed out of his yard, which the tow truck caused further damage to a landscape home that he said was extensive. So you explain to me, Mr. Hubbard, why, if he can prove to me that the insurance company paid him for the damage, but he had a $1,000 deductible so that he could redo the lawn and redo the planting beds, why you're not responsible for that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you have insurance on this car?
No,
Did they
I didn't. I didn't have it. There was no reason to. Nothing happened.
What do you mean nothing happened?
Nothing happened to his bush. Nothing happened to the tree. Nothing happened to anything.
Oh, you're just a fool. Didn't you see the photographs?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Front yard was damaged when a truck owned by neighbor Steve Hubbard rolled down a hill and onto his property.
So you explain to me, Mr. Hubbard, why, if he can prove to me that the insurance company paid him for the damage, but he had a $1,000 deductible so that he could redo the lawn and redo the planting beds, why you're not responsible for that?
The damage that was done to his car, that was done to the car, was nothing at all.
Was nothing. So you're saying to me that he committed insurance fraud?
Correct.
Okay. So now, sir, you show me photographs of the damage to your property. I'm sure you took a series of photographs when his truck was on your property.
Correct.
I'm sure you did.
Correct.
Right. I'd like to see them.
Should I show you all the pictures?
Just show me them. Yeah.
Or just the
I'll
damage?
start with the best ones.
This truck is going down the hill with no drivers in it.
Good. That's the truck. Okay. Now show me the damage. So he went in there. Right. Now, did he go in between the... Oh, I see he took down trees.
This is from the neighbor's side.
Okay, so that's going through your yard and going through those...
Neighbor's
boxwood trees.
Correct.
But are the boxwood trees yours?
Yes.
No.
So it hit the neighbor's garage wall. It's only 3 feet away because of the weight of the truck.
That's the neighbor's garage?
Correct.
Okay, next picture.
Okay. This open, huge, wide
Hey, he
open
went through,
space.
he took down a...
Huge, wide open space.
No, what I'm telling you is you can see clearly that he went through the bushes on your house.
Right.
Got it. Next.
That's it.
That's it. And do you have the letter from the insurance company indicating to you how much they're paying you?
Correct. I do.
I'd like to see it. Now let me see the bill from your landscaper.
I did not apply for the landscaping until finalized. In a second.
It's an estimate. It's not a bill.
Right. Hold on.
Show me. Show me.
I will.
Okay. Demo damaged area. Repair brickwork. Replace 10 to 15 Potsodium dwarf. Where is a 24-inch box pygmy palm? Is that the dead palm?
No.
Well, show me which one he killed. I see the bushes. That's clear. I just want to see the picture of it.
Right. On this image, it was a small one, okay, talking the big one. The big one, Einstein, because of the wind, that is, so killed. But I'm talking the small one. Yeah. It's not showing exactly by zooming the small plant. Now, the only thing I'm claiming for $380, the difference from high bushes, $880, insurance company covered only $500.
That's too bad.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, Mr. Hubbard, do you have homeowner's insurance?
Yes, I do.
Or did you have insurance on this car?
No,
Did they
I didn't.
attempt?
I didn't have it. There was no reason to. Nothing happened.
What do you mean nothing happened?
Nothing happened to his bush. Nothing happened to the tree. Nothing happened to anything.
Oh, you're just a fool. Didn't you see the photographs? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're finished. Goodbye.
Your Honor.
Goodbye.
Your Honor, may I ask you a
Goodbye.
question?
We're done. No, nothing. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
What do you think that I think that you did to her car?
I was going over there to get my payment. I had no motivation to scratch her car.
Pay careful attention, sir. You're not as smart.
I noticed Mr. Hubbard coming down the hill and explain what he tried to do, tried to pull the truck with another car.
The brake went out and it took off down the street by itself. No control.
And the rope snapped and rolling down the hill with no driver in it.
I walked after it. I didn't have to run. I walked. It was barely moving.
Is luckily, so no one got hit or had a collision with another vehicle.
Yes, I was very lucky.
He accepts 100%, responsibility.
I'm lucky it didn't go through the neighbor's front garage.
No more truck in the house.
Nothing. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got killed. Nothing happened to anybody.
A contractor cleared his calendar.
He was ready, willing, and able to do this job.
But a homeowner
When did you get back to him?
wasn't on the same page.
I told him at this point I wanted to cancel.
You canceled the night before.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Stetler,
Yes, Your Honor.
your responses to me are flaky.
I don't understand.
Flaky.
This is just suing home alarm installer Travis Bailey for failing to install a surveillance system in his home.
This is case number 189 on the calendar in the matter of Stetler versus Bailey. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Stetler, you purchased some surveillance equipment for your home. What kind of surveillance equipment did you purchase?
Surveillance cameras.
How many did you purchase?
I purchased a total of 8, Your Honor.
How much did you pay for the 8 security cameras?
Paid $1,700 for the system.
So it's one system?
Yeah, it's a system that has, with a hard drive with cameras and everything that needs to be installed.
And that's where Mr. Bailey comes in, because you needed someone to install the system. On what date did you purchase the system?
I'm not quite sure of the exact date. It was somewhere in December. I purchased the system. They sat at my house for quite some time before I had them installed, or it looked at getting them installed.
Okay, so you purchased them in 2019.
That's correct, Your Honor.
So you purchased them in December of 2019, and they did nothing. Sometime in June of 2020, some 6 months later, you contacted the defendant to install them.
That's correct.
And you told him that you would need $900 up front, and the total job was going to be what, to install the system?
Yes, so we did collect that deposit.
I didn't.
I'm sorry, what was your question, Your Honor?
I want you for a moment to think like a woman. I want you to put on your listening ears.
Okay.
Put on your listening ears. I asked you a simple question, and the question was, what was the total cost of the job? That's a number.
Just above $1,800. I believe it was $1,815.
And on that date, on the 20th of June, he gave you a $900 deposit.
Correct.
And you told him that it would be about half a day's work to
I don't
install.
believe it'd be half a day. I don't recall that exact statement.
Well, how long do you think it would have taken you had you done the job?
It would have probably been a full day.
One day. Well, one man's full day is another man's half day. It depends upon how fast and how diligently you work.
Correct.
And he had the materials except for one piece. And the one piece that you said he needed was a router. Now, I don't want you to explain to me what that is. At my age, I only want to know information that involves getting me from one meal to the next. So I don't want to know what a router does. But with reference to this case, you bought the router,
correct,
according to you.
Yes.
For his system.
Correct.
And how much did you spend that you have a receipt?
$150.
Did you buy it?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's probably still sitting in the office. I don't use equipment that's for jobs that didn't go in on that job, unless the client discloses that they don't need it or want it.
Why didn't you bring it? It's part of your defense that you bought an item. You started working on it. You researched it, and you bought an item. So why didn't you bring it? Where do you come from? You come from across the country?
No, Modesto. Things have been very hectic for our company during COVID.
But you drove here.
Correct.
Why don't you just put it in the car? Is it very big, this router? Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it bigger than a coffin?
No,
what is it?
Roughly this.
How big is it? Show me with your hands.
Roughly this big.
And who else drove in the car with you?
I had a friend join me.
Great. Is your car a 2-door car or a 4-door car?
4-door.
Good. So you had plenty of room in the back seat to put the router, if you want credit for the router. Anyway, you didn't get back to him for a while to let him know what date you could do this job. How come? The last thing you said to him was, give me the $900, and I'm going to look in my book and get back to you and let you know what date I can come and do it.
That is incorrect, Your Honor.
That was, well, tell me what you said. You took the $900, and what date did you tell him that you were going to start work?
So when we collected the deposit, the plaintiff gave me an option for 2 days he wanted to select for the install, and he would let me know which
days did he tell you?
I remember it was a Tuesday or a Thursday. I have it in my notes here if you may allow me to open them.
Absolutely.
So can I read a text message here, Your Honor?
Absolutely, and then I want to look at it.
Okay. So I'm going to read just a couple exchanges we had. I apologize for poor communication because things have been so hectic during the pandemic. My company's looking to hire more installers.
Okay, hold on a second. No, bop.
Okay.
Put the text message up there. I'll look at it myself. And the date.
So the date isn't in the screenshot?
Oh, well,
I
it
can
has to
pull
be.
up my phone and check if you'd like.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so in this exchange, you're apologizing to him for something.
It was just a delay in reply to
And I
text
need the
messages.
Oh, it's been so hectic here. Started moving through the pandemic. The company is looking to hire more installers right now. More people are calling in than usual.
I was just sharing unnecessary information, I
just need
suppose.
to know what date.
This was on June 20th. So this is my phone
June
here.
20th. I thought that June 20th was the date that you first...
May be incorrect on my dates, Your Honor. I apologize. I do remember we met on Father's Day. Not exactly sure what date that was.
Okay.
I took some time for him for that.
You have your dates down, Mr. Stetler?
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay,
I do.
great. He came to the house on what date?
He came to my house on Sunday, the 20th.
And you gave him $900 in a check.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was he supposed to start this job?
I wanted him to come out on that following Tuesday, and he told me he had to check with his installers to make sure that he was available to come out on that following Tuesday, and he would get back to me. And I have that on a text message as well.
I'd like to see it.
So this on June 20th, or I'm sorry, June 21st is when I show him that I spoke with my wife and wanted to have him come out on Tuesday. I'm sorry.
I talked to my wife. If Tuesday would work, would be fine, just let me know. I'm also not going to worry about installing a camera inside the garage. 5 cameras, we could address the balance when you finish. Yes or no problem. I'll knock it off the last half of the remaining balance. I haven't heard back from my guys yet. I'll let you know ASAP. So that was June 21st.
On Sunday, correct. And he was responding back to me, letting me know that he still hadn't heard back from his guys.
Yes, I read that. Well, when did he finally respond that he could...
Exchange from him was on June 30th, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, do you have any record that you let him know that you were either available or unavailable that Tuesday?
I believe I do. May I look through my text messages again?
Yes, I want you to look and see. Either I will be there or I won't be there on Tuesday. Checked with his wife. His wife said Tuesday is fine. You said, I haven't heard from my installers. I'll get back to you ASAP. I want to know when the ASAP was, because this case is about he wants the return of his deposit.
So it looks like I got back to him at 8:42 p.m. June 22nd, and I have text messages of that.
So the next one you say was at 8:42 p.m. on Tuesday, when you said what to him, sir? What did you say to him at 8:42?
I said, hey, sorry I had this typed up, but I didn't send. Sorry for the delay. That is no problem at all. That's perfect. We'll see you next Tuesday.
No. Following Tuesday, as we originally saw, showing up early in the morning between 7 and 8. I'll put it on my schedule. Can I see what's right before that? Hey, this is Matt Stetler. I had to order the wall mount and monitor. It won't show up until next Thursday, so let's go ahead and schedule the install for the following Tuesday, as we originally discussed, showing up early in the morning between 7 and 8. I'll put it on my schedule. And you say that's no problem. Okay, so the following would be the schedule.
That's
okay,
correct.
because you didn't have the right mounting.
That's correct.
And then what happened?
We didn't speak until I talked to him on the 20...
So now it's supposed to be installed the following Tuesday.
The following
Is that right?
That's correct.
Following Tuesday, which would have been the 29th.
The 29th, Your Honor, that's correct.
Yes, and what happened on the 29th?
So I got in touch with him that Monday, informing him that my wife was sick, or had got sick over the weekend, and Sunday she had to go in for surgery, and I was going to cancel the install for Tuesday, and that I would get back to him at a later date.
So you canceled
Yes,
the night before.
that's correct.
You canceled the night before.
That's correct.
Because your wife had an emergency.
That's correct.
When did you get back to him?
He got back to me on Tuesday, said that he got my text, that he was on a different job, and he would call me later. I had got wrapped up with business and other things. I hadn't heard back from him, and so I reached out to him on July 10th.
Well, why didn't you call him, Mr. Stetler, and without waiting for him? Your wife had an emergency. You canceled with him the night before the job.
That's correct.
You canceled with him the night before the job, saying your wife had an emergency.
That's correct.
And I'll get back to you. And when was the next time you contacted him?
No, I didn't say cancel, and it would probably take a few weeks to a month before I rescheduled the camera install.
Yeah.
and I put that in a text message. He had told me that he would get back to me.
Yeah, Mr. Stetler.
Yes, Your
Mr. Stetler.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't get your money back. Your responses to me are flaky.
No, I don't understand.
Flaky.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
Did she give you $80 in cash?
Yes.
When you came out of the facility?
Yes.
Did you ever give her any money?
No, but I've done a lot of things for her.
I don't care. My question was, did you ever give her any money?
Matthew Stetler says home alarm installer Travis Bailey owes for the return of a deposit to install a home surveillance system.
I usually give deposits back when somebody clearly isn't ready to do their job.
Okay.
He was ready, willing, and able to do this job. You canceled. You canceled the night before, and then you wanted to cancel the whole job. After you had scheduled with him, you knew he spent time, you knew he bought a router, you don't get your money back. You don't set the value for somebody else's time, sir.
That's
I
fine.
assume, did you have somebody else install the system?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Yeah.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
It's still open. I mean, he's one of the best guys in town, so I'm not saying that.
Well, I'm more than happy to do the job for him still. I'd be more than happy to do that for him.
It's not open. It's open for discussion, so.
I'd like to make him secure. That's what we do.
I'm glad it's settled.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Walton versus Asbury, step forward.
Catherine Walton is suing her former friend, Christina Asbury, for rent, a smashed windshield, and a loan to pay her cell phone bill.
Ms. Walton, you and the defendant knew each other for some time, and am I correct that each of you at some point had a drug problem?
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
You were in a program, according to what I read in your complaint. The defendant was just coming out of a program. She needed a place to stay. She contacted you, and you indicated that she could, in fact, stay with you for a while until she got on her feet. According to you, the arrangement was as follows. She could stay with you without rent at first. When she got a job, got on her feet, she would start paying you $400 a month.
Right.
And you also, according to you, loaned her $300 to sort of get her on her feet, to get some clothes and some other stuff. And she got a job relatively quickly. You were released from the facility when?
In April. Yes.
April?
For the remainder of April, yes.
And May?
Yes.
And in June?
Yes.
And in July?
Yes.
When did you leave?
About 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
Ago. Mm-hmm.
So that would be sometime in August.
Yes.
How much rent did you pay her?
I gave her a couple $100 out of a couple of my checks, but I was trying to save money for my own place.
A couple of $100 out of a couple of your checks. A couple is two.
Oh, there was maybe like 3 or 4 that I remember.
How much money did she give you while she was staying with you?
$600 total.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I came home and I immediately saw that my windshield was smashed. And
how did that happen?
I found out who it was, why he broke out her window. I have no clue. I wasn't there.
Name? Name?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Catherine Walton says former friend Christina Asbury owes for rent, a smashed windshield, and a loan.
Now, what was the $300 that you, according to you, loaned her for?
When she moved in, or when she got her job.
When did you get your job?
The program.
Where were you working?
I was working at a natural food store.
Are you still working there?
No.
Where are you working now?
I'm working at a gas station now. We actually work at the same company, different stores.
How long have you worked there?
About 2 months.
Who is this?
This is my boyfriend.
What does he do? Is not an answer.
He doesn't have a job right now.
What does he do? All day?
I don't know. I'm at work.
So he stays home and you work?
Mm-hmm.
How long has he been your boyfriend?
Off and on for a year now.
Did you meet him in the facility?
No.
Where did you meet him?
I met him at my friend's house.
Has he had a job during the year?
Yeah.
Doing what?
He was doing I don't know what it's called, like tree trimming and tree.
Now, what was the $300 for?
I bought her cell phone bill, and for clothes for her new job. She had to wear a certain type of outfit.
Did you give her the $300 in cash?
No, I gave her $80 in cash, and the cell phone and the cell phone bill I put on my credit card.
Did she purchase a cell phone for you?
Yeah, she didn't say that I had to pay her back, though.
Just question is, did she purchase a cell phone for you?
Yes.
Did she pay your cell phone bill?
Yes.
Did you came out of the facility?
Yes.
What about clothes?
I didn't have any when I moved with her.
Did she help you get some?
Yes.
Where did you first meet Miss Walton?
I met her through my ex-husband. We met about 10 years ago. Her ex and my ex were friends, and we've just continued to be friends even though those relationships are done and gone.
Did you ever give her any money?
No, but I've done a lot of things for her.
I don't care. My question was, did you ever give her any money?
No.
And who do you work for, Miss Walton?
I work at a gas station.
Do you live alone?
I have a daughter who's 5.
Anything else you want to tell me?
She also owes me for a windshield that got broken. My car windshield that got broken.
Well, explain that to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Well, explain that to me.
On July 4th, I came home and I immediately saw that my windshield was smashed out. I have a picture of it if you want to see. And
how did that happen?
I wasn't there. I found out who it was, and I told her who it was.
Who was it?
It was this person that I had bought a computer from. He had gotten, I don't know why he went.
Did you owe him money for the computer?
Yes, I did. Why he broke out her window, I have no clue. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of it.
Your Honor, she would drive my car all the time. She doesn't have her own car, so she would borrow it. So I assume the person thought the car was maybe hers.
She's not responsible for the windshield.
She signed for the bill to pick it up.
I don't care. She just gave you the name of the person who broke your windshield.
She did. I didn't hear a name.
Oh, name? Name?
Mike. I don't know who that is.
She'll tell you who it is. Go file a police report.
If I hadn't had met
Listen
her
to me.
or let her drive my car, it would have never been broken.
If my mother were taller, I would have been 5'8".
She agreed that she would.
I'm telling you, she's not responsible for your windshield.
She agreed that she would pay.
Do you understand? She's not responsible for your windshield. I don't care what she agreed to. That's why you're here. She's not responsible for your windshield. Go and file a police report against him.
I did file a police report.
Sue. Well, did you put down the name of the person?
I did, and they didn't seem to care.
Well, then she knows where they are. She bought a computer from them. Sue them.
I think she should give me the computer for it.
Listen to me. She's not responsible for the criminal act of another person.
Not criminally, but
it's
civilly.
a criminal act of another person. I'm trying to explain something to you. Did you go to law school?
No.
She's not responsible for the criminal act of another person. Then she's not responsible for it. She's responsible for the $300 that she borrowed from you in order to get on her feet.
Even with the babysitting? I've done a lot of babysitting and stuff for her.
Listen to me. You paid $600 over 4 months that you lived in her house. You can't board a gerbil for that amount of money for 4 months. You're bigger than a gerbil. So if you babysat, cleaned the bathroom, did the refrigerator, scrubbed out the stove, good for you. You were living practically for nothing.
Her daughter lived there as well, and I watched her daughter too.
So I look as if I need your help. No. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. That's all. Thank you, Your Honor.
Officer, excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's strained it, but I hope now, I can look past it, and now that I'm going to get paid back, I hope we're not enemies forever.
Well, I care about her too, and it will all work itself out.
I do. I love her.
Business doesn't work well with friends.
Living in.
Do whatever I want.
It's not your house. It's your father's house.
She got up. I got up.
Then this blended family mixed it up.
Then she starts throwing punches. She hit me in my face. And then Julie starts punching me and attacking me on my face. So there I am, trapped.
You had a girl fight.
Yeah, but they broke my nose and I'm not happy with that.
This is Judge Judy. 23-year-old Sylvia Marino is suing her stepsisters, 21-year-old Julie Munoz and 18-year-old Clara Munoz, for assaulting her and breaking her nose.
Judge, this is case number 39 on the calendar in the matter of Moreno versus Munoz. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Marino, how long has your father been living with the defendant's mother?
As soon as my mom got pregnant, that's when she got out of the house. So like a month later, that's when their mom moved in, and my sisters are now 6 years old. So I want to say 6 years old.
Okay. And is your father married to the defendant's mother?
No.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it also correct that your mom moved in about 6 years ago?
Yes.
Had you known the defendant's mom before they moved in?
Did I know her before she moved in? I'm not too sure. No, I don't think so.
Julie, before your mom moved in with...
He started coming around the house probably 2 months within dating, so 11 years.
Okay, and of those 11 years, you've lived in the house with Mr. Marino for 6 years?
No, I recently moved in the end of December of 2019.
Where were you living before?
At a friend's house.
And what about your sister?
She had lived with them for the amount of 6 years.
Is that right?
Yes.
So you lived with your mom when she moved in to Mr. Marino's house?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get along with his daughter?
I didn't really see her much around time when I moved in because she lives with her mother and I lived there. So I probably see them around once every week.
So you've been constantly living there with your mom and with Mr. Marino?
Yes.
And Miss Marino, she wasn't in the house.
No.
She was living with her mother.
Yes.
Is that right, Miss Marino?
Yes.
Now, you came home to stay with your father when?
July of
Just
last year.
give me a month and year.
July of last year.
And at that time, Claire was living there?
Yes.
And Julie was not living there because Julie didn't come until December. Is that right, Julie?
Yes. Yeah, well, she was living there at one point, and then she got kicked out because she was offering her little sister, recently she moved back in, a little after I moved in. I want to say a month after.
Your Honor,
sounds
that's
like
not correct.
Lovely. Okay. So this is what the case is about. You and both Julie and Claire got into some sort of a kerfuffle. You got into a kerfuffle on the 30th of July, 2020. So you had been living there for about a year.
Yes.
I'd like you to tell me briefly your version of what happened, because you're suing them both for an assault and for injuries that you sustained. You sustained a broken nose. The defendants are suing you on a counterclaim for falsely filing a protective order on which there was a trial on the same incident as this. Is that right?
Correct.
And that trial resulted in the protective order that you filed against the two of them to exclude them from the house being dismissed.
Yeah, it got denied.
Judge heard evidence, heard you, heard the defendants, heard from your boyfriend, and the judge dismissed the case.
Right.
So now you have 2 minutes to tell me what happened, and then I'm going to tell you what the law is. Go.
Okay, so recently we've been having arguments and stuff, but the last one, that's where it got
No,
very
I don't want to
intense.
hear recently. I just want you to stick to July 30th.
I basically got lowered out of my room. I got a text message from Clara saying that I had got a package, and so I responded saying, thank you.
Got out of your room?
Yes, and they were in the living room, both of them. So then I got out, and I was like, hey, so where's the package? They're like, oh, there's no package. I just wanted to know you were at the house. And I'm like, well, I'm here. And then she's like, oh, good.
Who is she?
Clara.
Claire.
Yes. And then she starts assuming that I was stealing her wine and saying that I took it, whatever, and that I had to pay her back and that I owe her the bottle and whatever. And I was like, why I didn't take it. And then, so yeah, we started arguing about that. And then Clara just goes, just go back to your room. Go back to your room, because she has some type of authority over me. And I'm like, this is my house. I can do whatever I want. And then she's like, hi, it's your house. Okay, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, it's my house. She starts laughing, starts acting ghetto. I didn't even want to go to the bathroom because I had to pass by them.
Look here. No, just a second. So she told you to go back to the room.
Mm-hmm. And
you said, you can't tell me. I live here. Slowly. And don't look away from me. Look right here. Right in my eyes.
Yes.
Good. So she told you to go back to the room. You said no.
Right.
And
then I was like, well, this is my house.
Try to use no like. Try not to use the word like.
Okay. So I was like, this is my house. I get to do whatever I want. So then I had to use a bathroom. So I had to pass by them to use a bathroom. So I just didn't want to be near her. I just felt very because she caught me off guard.
Just tell me.
And then so I went to the...
Tell me what happened. And
then so I went upstairs, and then oh no, I didn't go to the bathroom. So then I went to the living room because that's where we were talking. And then she starts like,
well, you were in the living room already.
Yeah. And then she starts acting like all ghetto, saying, I was like, what is it with you guys that you guys, like, why is it that you guys are always messing with me? Like, you guys don't have a life? Like, can you guys just please leave me alone? And then Clara just goes like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Do something, do something. Like, and then so I was like, I'm not scared of you, I'm not scared of you. So then she starts throwing punches. So then I was defending myself by fighting back.
So just a second. So what you're telling me is Claire punched you?
Yes.
Okay, so she got close enough to you to punch you?
Yeah.
How many times did she punch you and where?
I'm not sure how many times. It was just like, you know, it was just all very fast and on my face. So then at that point, I was very like vulnerable. So Julie got up. She's like, oh, you're not going to hit my little sister? So then she goes the other side.
Just a second. Well, Julie said you're not going to hit my little sister. Had you hit her little sister?
Because I was like defending myself. So that's why she was saying that.
Okay, well, that's not a like. That's a yes. So yes. She hit you and then you hit her.
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then Julie came around me, like on my right side, and then she starts like punching me and attacking me on my face. So there I am. You know, I couldn't get up because I was basically trapped. I was
trying
down.
to get up. Had you?
Because I was
just a second. Were you sitting down or did you fall down?
I was sitting down already.
It can't be both.
No, I was.
So you were sitting down, talking to them.
Yes.
So when you were talking to the two of them, you were sitting down.
Yes.
Were they sitting down?
Yes.
So Claire had to have moved.
Yeah.
To punch you.
So she kind of like halfway got up, like halfway stood up, like kind of like.
Enough. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, Claire.
Yes.
3 minutes. Your version of the events of the 30th of July. Go.
So I sent a message saying that she...
To get her out of the room because somebody took your wine.
Yes. So I sent her that message and she was telling me that she didn't do it. And I was like, I knew for a fact that she was lying. So I didn't want to deal with her attitude. So I just said, forget it. Like, all I wanted was the gift back. I didn't care if she drank it. I didn't care if she did anything to it. I just wanted the bottle back itself because it was an expensive gift given to me by my sister. So I let her go, and then she confronted us again, and she sat down about like 2 feet away from me, and she was telling me, what is your problems with us? And I immediately got very defensive, and I was like, we did nothing wrong. You're over here always causing problems in the house. So after we were arguing for a while, I told her to shut up. And, like, I didn't want to deal with her problems anymore. So I told her to shut up, go to her room. And she said, you can shut me up. You can't. I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to talk all I want. And I said, just shut up. Like, and she's like, and I was like, all right. Like, you're not going to do anything about it? Like, you can shut up. And she got up after a while of us telling to shut up. So I got up, she took a step towards me, and I took a step towards her. And I got in her face, telling her, like, to shut up, go to your room, like, I don't know what your problem is. Over time, after the argument, she hit me in my face, and then I started hitting her back. And that was when my sister intervened.
Okay.
And at that point, my boyfriend had split us up.
What?
At that point, my boyfriend had split us up.
Your boyfriend?
Yeah, my witness.
Good, very good. Now, I don't need your witness, because your witness was also there. You filed for a protective order against them. You wanted them excluded from the house, right?
Right. Okay. Because that's what I was told by the cops.
Okay, what you were told by the cop? It's not your house, it's your father's house.
Right.
You can leave, but would you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Your father gets to decide who lives in his house and who doesn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
girls aren't supposed to know about things like air conditioning and plumbing and heating. You know, that's usually not something girls know about. But I'll tell you what this girl knows about: wine. And I know about people who put air conditioning units in a wine cellar and pass it off as a refrigerant. Do you understand?
Sylvia Marino claims stepsisters Julie and Clara Munoz broke her nose during an assault. The defendants are countersuing for a false restraining order.
The judge heard your case for an order of protection. The order of protection, among other things, in addition to asking them to be removed from the house, which nobody's going to grant.
Right.
It would have said that they cannot assault, menace, threaten, or harass you. The judge heard your evidence by the same burden of proof, if not higher than the burden of proof that exists in small claims court. And after hearing all the evidence, just like I did, the judge in that case dismissed the case, having heard all of the facts. I can actually understand why. You had a girl fight, and that's what happened. And I assume that when did you leave the house? This happened on July 30th. On what date?
I left the house on September 1st, 2nd.
So you lived there in the month of August?
Yes, because I had nowhere to go.
Where did you finally go to?
A room. I was looking, when it happened on July 31st. At that time, I was just looking already at a different, room and stuff, because I just couldn't live there.
Okay.
It was just too much.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing for your father. Your father doesn't need aggravation from 3 girls who clearly don't get along. How old is your father?
Like 44,
Do you know?
45, around there, I believe.
Nice, caring. Okay, I've heard enough. Very nice. You have a nice place to live now? Are you happy in your room?
Well, yeah,
You're happy not being near them?
Yeah, but they broke my nose, and I'm not happy with that.
Oh, no, I'm not happy with that either. You shouldn't have had a fight with them. I, like the judge who heard this case before, isn't sure who started it. That's why the judge dismissed the application for an order of protection.
Yes, I have.
So, and I'm doing the same. I'm doing the same. We're finished. We're done. Case is over. It's dismissed. So is your counterclaim. Goodbye.
This case is completed. You're excused.
I just feel like this whole thing is so unfair.
It started off with misunderstanding and it ended up leading to anger and
the owner of the house, which is my dad.
Anger that was already built up between her and then us.
I'm their daughter. They broke my nose. It just can't stay like that.
And I think it was just the amount of time that it just blew up.
And he still chose their mom. He still chose them.
It's not that he chose us over his own daughter.
How can you choose? How can you forget about your daughter?
It's the fact that she came with a lot of problems.
I just wanted justice for myself because he didn't care. He didn't do anything.
I'm ready to put it way behind.
Nothing. I'm already out.
All parties in the matter of Bynum versus McCormick. Step to the podium, please.
Donald Bynum is suing contractor Gary McCormick for the return of a deposit on a wine room he never built.
Mr. Bynum, you had done previous business with Mr. McCormick as a contractor.
That is correct, Your Honor.
What kind of work had Mr. McCormick done for you previously?
My brother and I had a rental home. We hired Gary to refinish the entire insides of the house, essentially, and make it ready.
And you were satisfied?
We were.
And then you decided in your own home to put in a wine cellar.
That's correct.
And that was in June of 2019.
Correct.
And according to what I put together from both the complaint and the answer, you contacted the defendant. He came over and took a look at it, gave you a price, and you gave him some money to start the process.
And then he asked for a deposit to order materials.
How much of a deposit did you give him?
$7,300.
And on what date did you give him the $7,300?
I had the check copy, if you'd like to see. It was September 9th of 2019.
Suffice it to say, you don't have a wine cellar.
I do not.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He doesn't have a paid receipt for starting the project or a contract. He has a check. What's the total job?
Are you crazy, Mr. McCormick? He has a check that he gave you as a deposit. What kind of stupid defense is that, sir?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald Bynum is suing contractor Gary McCormick for the return of a deposit on a wine room he never built.
Mr. McCormick, what did you do in September, October, November, December, January, and February? That's 6 months. You now have his $7,300.
Yes, I do.
Tell me what specifically you did to accomplish creating a wine cellar for the plaintiff.
I didn't get into the attic and look at what we really had to put in there, so I ordered a unit that was pretty standard to what I thought would fit.
What date did you place an order for this unit?
End of September.
Was it the right unit?
No, I ended up canceling that unit.
Okay, because you made a mistake and it was the wrong unit.
Yes. So in October, November, I brought a friend over that does air conditioning, and I asked him if he could come over and take a look and get in the attic. I've had some previous health issues with some respiratory problems, so I don't get in attics anymore. He came over. The access was really, really tight. So we changed the unit configuration, and I kind of made it overkill because I knew I did not want a phone call after this was put in that it's not cooling to my satisfaction. So we went way over.
When was the last time, Mr. McCormick, you built or GC'd on a wine cellar?
Oh, it's probably
When was the last time?
Probably 10 years.
Yeah, I can tell that, sir, because you don't get somebody who does air conditioning to come in to do a wine cellar.
No, I just brought him in to
Air conditioning people don't make wine cellars. Air conditioning people do air conditioning. There are specialists who do wine cellars. It's a different kind of refrigerant.
Completely different. Yes.
Yes, completely different. So, girls aren't supposed to know about things like, air conditioning and plumbing and heating. That's usually not something girls know about. But and I also know about wine cellars. And I know about people who put air conditioning units in a wine cellar and pass it off as a refrigerant. Do you understand?
I would have never done that.
So let's be clear. Let's be clear about that. So this is what you're going to have to prove to me, because now you have his money since September, and you made a mistake in September. You made a mistake in October. You maybe made a mistake in November. You had some health issues, also not his problem and not his fault. Right now, we're in March. He doesn't have a wine cellar, and I don't know how much of the $7,300 you gave him back. How much?
None.
So you had 6 months to get the ball rolling on this and did nothing, as far as I can tell.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, do you have a paid invoice for anything that you purchased for his wine cellar?
No, I do not.
Well, then what are your damages, sir?
My damages for the glass and the unit are $9,200.
Just to say, well, I'm asking you, unit. You knew today, you're an intelligent man. You knew you were coming to court today. So if you had paid for a unit, you would have brought me a paid bill. And case is over.
I don't have a paid bill because
bring it,
I work with these suppliers like I do myself. He doesn't have a paid receipt for starting the project or a contract on the job.
No, he has a check. Of course he has a...
He has a check. What's the total job?
Are you crazy, Mr. McCormick? He has a check that he gave you as a deposit. What kind of stupid defense is that, sir? Now, if you extended yourself and your company to purchase something for his wine cellar prior to his saying, I don't want to do this because it's 6-8 months later and it's not going to get done, I certainly would have sympathy for that. And I would say, listen, if he's got this item that he paid for and that he's got sitting there, you have to go through with this because you don't have a contract that says time is of the essence. So I would assume, sir, that you're full of baloney when you say you paid for anything.
No, I paid for it all.
Mr. McCormick, just show me a paid bill.
I cannot show you.
All right, then you owe him $5,000 because it's the maximum of what I can give him here. We're done. Bad business, Mr. McCormick. Thank you.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, terror on two wheels.
Ooh, zipping right along. That's frightening. The scooter flipped.
Judge Judy.
I did give him a deadline, and then I said after that deadline, I said it's time to move on.
They were asking for the material or the money.
And I can get another contractor to come finish up, or if you can give me the parts.
So obviously they're backing out of the project.
And he just wouldn't respond.
It's a friendship too. I mean, all my customers are friends, so it's a tough deal.
Well, I did feel like we were friends, but this isn't how you treat a friend.